Okay, now that I've figured out how to start a recording on my camera, since I've never used it for this before, I just wanted to try to get a brow video for y'all before I get my permanent makeup done this week. So yeah, anyway, this shouldn't take too long, and it is kind of hard to show you. I do have brow hair. I wish I could show you a little bit more. Maybe I'll do that later on someone else that doesn't have so much brow hair, because I feel like my brows are somewhat easy to fill in. I do try to keep them shaped and all of that myself. I don't go get them waxed, I just tweeze them. Anyway, I like to have a few things set out before I do my brows. It doesn't have to be this type of brush, it can be one of the little spoolies, but I just like to brush through my brows and make sure everything's kind of tamed. And then, of course, my actual angled brush, which this is a MAC 208. This is probably my favorite brush that I've found for filling in my brows with a powder. And then I'll usually just keep any sort of other like angled brush and some concealer so that I can clean up any mistakes that I make. And then the actual brow products I use is going to be mostly a powder. This is the Anastasia like Duo. I just like that it comes with two shades because I usually do like the darker shade in the outer part of my brow and the lighter shade in the front part, just so it's not as harsh. And then the any sort of pencil, if you ever have to draw out of the lines, I usually do a pencil or like a cream product like the Dip Brow. Okay. So this is the Sephora brow pencil. It's supposed to be waterproof. I haven't actually tested that out. And then I'll usually do a brow gel too. So just to review, we've got 3 brushes, which I know that's a little overboard probably, but makes it easier on me. So you've got something to brush your brows with, something to use with the actual product, and then something to clean up with. And then the products are going to be concealer, the powder or whichever product you choose, pencil, and gel. And not everyone needs all of these, but this is going to be what I'm going to do. So what I do, I've already brushed through my brow now, and I'm going to start with the powder. Basically, like wherever you have hair, you can use a powder. It's going to stick to your hair. And I just start towards the outer part of my brow, so I'm not focusing all the dark color up in the front. And I start from the bottom and just kind of brush it up and follow where I do have hair at least, my natural brow shape. And then I'll usually take that kind of to where like the color of my eye starts right here, not all the way to the front of the brow. So this is just the darker shade. So you can see that's already kind of a big difference between the two. And then I'm gonna do the lighter shade now. This shade is dark brown, by the way. It's the dark brown Anastasia Duo. This is where I'm gonna fill in the front of my brow. I always start from the bottom. It just looks more natural in my opinion. And some people, you might like that really defined stamped on eyebrow where you do concealer underneath and on top and all of that, but that's not how I roll. So if you want it more defined, you might want to use a creamier product like the Anastasia Dip Brow, and really draw it out. And then if you do concealer around your brow, it's fine to go lighter underneath your brow, but you really want to go the same shade of your skin if you're going to clean up the top part, because it's going to look like your eyebrow is floating on your face if you go lighter above your eyebrow. So I just really draw a line here, and then I kind of use the brush to smudge the product up right here. And that really just fills my brow in where my hair is. So I guess I'll go ahead, and another tip too is I'm only going to do one brow just so you can see the difference between the two. But if you have a side that's harder to do, like technically I would say I have a harder time with this eyebrow. It's a little more sparse and uneven. So typically I would probably start on that side because I feel like it's easier to make this side match that side. So start off with your harder side first, and then you can even out your easier side to the worst side. But now that I've got the powder in there, that's my basic color. Anywhere I need to draw out of the lines, I'm going to use the pencil, which, like I said, you can use a cream product or whatever. I usually will go through here. This brow pencil is pretty light. It's called Rich Chestnut. It's not super dark. But I just kind of go through the bottom to make it more of a defined line. I'm being very light-handed with this. The further back you hold your pencil, the lighter your pressure is going to be. So I'm just going to go through and kind of pencil that in and define it a little bit more. And then towards the tail, this is where I will go a little bit above the brow and kind of just fill out my arch a little bit more. And you want your brow to kind of line up right here with the outer corner of your eye. So I'll usually do a little bit. And it just kind of gives me a little bit more of an arch. And then I'm overdrawing it just a tiny bit, making my brow a little bit longer. And then just to soften that up, I'll usually go back with my brush. And do that. Then, anywhere, like I said, that you make mistakes, you can take a cream product of some sort. It doesn't have to be concealer. It can be a foundation. I just find that the creamier products versus a liquid is a little bit easier to control. It's like, you know, using butter versus, I don't know, oil or a liquid of some sort. And I just go through and clean up any mistakes or if something's not perfectly straight. I think I'm gonna do a little bit, brush just a little bit more up here. And then, like I said, not everyone needs all these products. My brow hairs are just longer and they don't stay in place throughout the day, so that's why I use a brow gel. You can use a clear brow gel. They make brow waxes, all kinds of stuff. So that helps a lot if your brow hairs are a little bit longer and don't like to obey. And it should just help hold them in place throughout the day. And some days I don't even fill my eyebrows in. I just use this colored one and that's it. And this is the LimeLife one in medium. So that's the medium brown. Oh, and the concealer I'm using is the LimeLife too. But like I said, I mean, MAC makes a really good cream concealer, the Studio Finish. So that's just as easy to use. But you can see the difference between the two brows. It just adds some definition. Like I said, this is more than what I would probably do to be wearing the eye makeup I'm wearing right now. I feel like I like my brows to be a little bit more natural throughout, just on a daily basis, when I'm just wearing mascara. But I wanted to show y'all. Let's see. I guess I'll go ahead and do this side since I have to do it anyway. So just starting on that outer part of the brow again with the darker shade of the brow duo. Okay. And then taking the lighter shade again and just brushing it up, starting at the bottom. Another thing I guess I should mention is when you're selecting your brow shade, like you can see how dark that lighter shade went in my brow even though it looks very light in the container. Usually if you're looking at a brow product in the container like this, it's gonna probably go on darker than what you expect. I'm not really sure why that is, but I feel like that's what a lot of people have a problem with, is like they pick a shade that looks like what it should in their eyebrow in the pan, and then when they get it on, it goes even darker, and then they have really dark eyebrows. Okay, and then I'm gonna just do the same thing out here and overdraw with this pencil a little bit and even out that arch. I feel like I got my eyebrows pretty even so far. Okay, and I really don't have anything I need to clean up on this side, so I don't even need the concealer on that end now. And then just gonna go in with my brow gel. And I usually start with this towards the center and the tail end of the brow, just because I don't want a bunch of the brow gel up at the front. And there we go. So hopefully this was at least somewhat helpful. I know, like I said, I do have brow hair, so it might be a little bit different if you have very blonde hair or not any hair at all. Maybe I'll try to do a video, like I said, on that with someone else as a model. So yeah, just let me know if y'all have questions. I can do product recommendations if you need them. If you do have trouble picking your colors out, just comment or message me and I'll try to help you with that. All right, bye.